I begin with this question: is my way always right? We often live our lives looking for, well, what do I want to do today? And what's fun for me? And what should I do? And how should I live my life? And what's important to me is what I'm going to do, usually. And we have a desire for, we'll go do that. And it revolves around ourselves, which is natural because that we're thinking our thoughts and what's going on in our mind. But if you're in a relationship with someone, as I just talked about in the first video, if you're in a relationship with someone, say a very close friend, a dear loved one, someone who you do spend time with and want to be with, and when you're with them, say with my wife, she might say something like, "I really would like to do this tonight." And it's not on my radar, it's not something I'm thinking about, but it's something she would like to do. And so I can have one of two reactions. I could say, "No, I don't really want to do that. Why don't we do this?" Or I might just say, "You know what? Let's do what you want." Because it'll give you some joy. It's a desire of your heart. Is it what I want to do? It's not even I'm not even thinking about it. Would it be something I enjoy? Maybe. Maybe it isn't. But it's something that she would like to do. And so that motivates me. Love for her and my relationship with her motivates me. And so change my plans. I'll make time for it. We'll spend the money on it. Well, if we look at that a different way, I'm actually deciding to do her will. I'm deciding to do her wishes, what she would like me to do with her. You understand how that changes how we look at it? If we just set that aside and just say, I'm actually doing her will. And some people might say, wow, I want to do my will. But actually, real joy comes in giving. The Bible says we get more joy from giving than receiving. And in doing a heartfelt act of saying, sure, going along with her, doing what she'd like to do, taking pleasure in what's important, which is her, being with her, it almost doesn't matter what I'm doing anymore. And so when we look at my way, it changes greatly in relationship with someone else. Once you're in a relationship with someone else, and I'm talking way more than just a social contact relation, I'm talking about someone we actually are with, face to face. It's people that we do things with, go places with, work with. You see, it's a dimension of relationship that's being lost in our society because of how easy it is to just text, not even call. Calling takes a while, right? Who's going to do a phone call? Who has time to answer the phone? But relationship means we do want to be actually with the person. And that's why in the first talk I talked about this relationship, the most important thing. It absolutely changes how we look at things and live our lives. In the Bible, Jesus mentions to his disciples that you're my friends. Our relationship was developing. He wanted to be with them as much as they wanted to be with him. It's mutual. It was a friendship. And he also said, I want you to follow me. He began with that, I want you to follow me, but he continued on even after his death and resurrection, telling Peter, follow me. Well, what is he saying? He's basically saying, will you do what I want? Today, will you do what I want? And what motivated Peter, or what motivates me, what should motivate you is, well, if it's what you want, sure, let's do that. and we put them first, right? But that whole issue of following me is rooted in a relationship. It's not, when we think about doing someone else's will, maybe our boss at work, or something that's required of us that we have to do, we don't really like doing, or we got to go to school, we got to do this, teacher wants that. We don't really want to do that sometimes. I've been fired twice, so I know what it I know what it means to say, I'm not doing that. Okay, then you're out of here. Yeah, I had a hard streak to me. Rebellious. It's what it was. But often when we think about doing God's will, and I had to wrestle with this myself, because I was used to doing what I wanted. I didn't really give much thought. But when you're in relationship, you do think about it. I do think about what my wife might love, what she might like to do tonight or tomorrow, a surprise of some kind. It's on our minds because we're in relationship. We care about them. We love them. And it's the same with our relationship with God, with Jesus. But sometimes when we think about doing God's will, it comes with such a harshness, doesn't it? It feels weird. Well, that means I got to do all this hard stuff. I'm going to have to do what I don't want to do. I'll have to give up my dreams, give up my desires. Life's not going to be happy. It's just going to be nose to the grind and do whatever I have to do, what he wants me to do, because I have to do that. That's kind of what we think about. Certainly how I thought about things till I got in deeper into knowing God and him knowing me. The heart of what God wants you to do is already in you. You see, he created us with heart's desires. And, the Bible even says, I want to give you the desires of your heart. Well, how does that equate with doing his will? He created your personality and your desires because it's a part of what makes us happy. We enjoy doing them. It gives us life. And so just to look at myself, when I was growing up, I had lots of desires, lots of hobbies, lots of dreams. I had a love for music. My parents both liked music. I liked to sing. I don't know if I was very good at it, but I liked to do all that different stuff. So it was just in me. It was part of who I was. Early on in school, especially grade school, I remember learning English and sentence structures and writing. And there was something about that just, I liked it. I loved it. Language arts, English, literature, all that stuff I just liked. I liked to write. And, God didn't just give me those desires, those things that made me happy for no reason. They had something to do with his wishes and his desires and his will. So when he said to Peter, will you follow me? He said to his disciples, follow me. It meant that he wanted to broaden and expand our desires to maybe help him do what he would like to do. Maybe there's someone out there he wants you to inspire, to help, to serve, to make life better for them. And he uses your desires to fulfill his wishes and his love for someone else who he also loves, someone besides you that he loves. My love for music led me to write songs, lead singing, sing songs for others that inspire them, give them hope, get them through tough difficulties, just through song, music. My love for language, English, sentence structure, all of that writing, allowed me to use those desires because God would say, I want you to write about me, write about the Father. So I wrote this book about who the Father really is, because we have such weird ideas of what this God is up there. And then the last book, just about, where he is and how he dwells with us and how we can find him and in a special place deep within us where he wants to live. I've always had a love for color. My dad was an artist. He would always lay out all the painting supplies and drawing materials on our kitchen table, spread it all out, and we'd sit at the table drawing and painting and making art and color. I just loved color. Back then, all we had to do was work with these hard watercolors that you dab and try to paint with. And I just loved color. It just was a part of me. I just always loved color. I like wearing colorful shirts. Well, I'm wearing white today, but I love colorful shirts. You'll see me wearing lots of color, usually. But it also was something that enabled me to eventually, and it took quite a few years, eventually ended up in a job where I used color all the time. It was a painting business. But I loved it because, I could put color on walls and change things and make them beautiful. But it drew from something that was already within me, and I spent 35 years doing that, providing an income for my family. A way to go out and buy things, go traveling, whatever. But he's using something deep within me to do his will, which was also to take care of children, provide for them, look out for them. That's his will. But he's going to use something in me to help me do that. And the money that I had, that I earned through that occupation, was also to help others. So giving alms, we've always been moved to give 5% of our income. Just give it away to people who don't have it. And that was heart's desire of God, who cared about the poor and the weak and the downtrodden and those who need help. So that was just one thing that he used. It was his will. But he wanted me to have a job, and he used something deep within me to get there. I had a talent for leadership early on in grade school, even being put in positions of leadership. I liked being there. I didn't mind that. Public speaking, I had to give addresses, was asked to do that. There must have been something people saw. I didn't know I had it. But it was a gift within me. And over the years, that began to span out and grow. And God said, I'd like you to lead this group of people, or I'd like to give you to give this teaching, or record this speaking at some place, or to speak at this conference, because people need to hear this, and would you do that for me? So it's his will, but he's doing something that's natural to me and something that I already like doing. I like inspiring people. I like helping people. He's taking something deep within me. Not just me, but I have a good friend who was just loved numbers. They just loved working with numbers. It just was in them. I hate that kind of thing. But they liked it. And two of my friends, one became an accountant, very successful. One became a mathematician and professor in math. God put it in them. They loved it already. Their work was enjoyable. And that's really the desire of God for all the things that we have to do, so-called have to do. He wants to make it fun, and he uses the desires deep within us, and he'll help us find them. Some people don't even know what they are. But he gives us the desires of our heart because it shapes and fits into a bigger plan. More people to love, more people to be cared for, to make the world a better place. That's why God says, I want my kingdom on this earth. His kingdom is a place where people love each other, look out for each other, care for each other. My wife listens to a Bible study by a lady, I can't remember the name now, but she ends every segment, almost every segment, with, He is where the joy is. I love that phrase. He is where the joy is. Or she'll say, one thing I know for sure. He is where the joy is. God is where the joy is. You know, when you're with someone, you know, on a date, or you're with someone you just love and you're spending time with them, and you feel their love coming to you, they care about you, they like you, joy happens. We just start lifting up and we start feeling this joy deep within us. And so she makes this comment, he is where the joy is, because love is coming from him towards us, wooing us, beckoning us, inviting us, like I talked about in the first talk, to just be with him, know him, and let him know us. Spend time with him, be in relationship with him. But also out of that comes a great joy. Do you have joy? Do you have someone who cares about you, loves you? Is your heart lifted with joy? I know for many, life is meaningless. Life's a drudgery, full of anxiety, fear, depression. Is my way always right? Sometimes it doesn't turn out well for us. Things aren't going well. And often it's because we're trying to please others in order to get loved. You don't have to do that with God. He already loves you. You don't have to do a single thing. That's the beauty of it. You can thrive in that. Knowing someone loves you gives you joy. And that's what God does for you. So when he says, follow me, he's asking you to broaden your horizon, to look at him and say, I'd like to do what you want. What do you want to do tonight? What do you want to do today? What will make you happy? That comes from a stirring of love for them out of our heart. And that connects us. And so when Jesus says, like I mentioned before, away with me, I never knew you, that will never happen. Because we know him and he knows us. And we want to help him. We want to do things for him. We want to do what makes him happy. But it also brings us joy because we're with them and we're with Jesus. And it gives us joy. I just invite you to subscribe to this channel. It's food for thought that gives wisdom and change to our heart. It makes sense to our heart. These talks are about our heart. It's what makes us tick, it's what drives us. And understanding our heart will make your life go so much better. Subscribe to this channel and keep listening to find out more things that will just cause your life to thrive and to bring joy into the middle of what might seem like chaos right now, and bring you into a place where you feel loved, feel cared for. Thanks for listening. Just want to encourage you. God thinks you're great. I do. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think you were special and important and need to hear this. So God bless you. Take care. Till next time.